Dusty Rhodes also said that his sister could whip me on any street in America. Well, let me tell you something, Dusty Rhodes. I've heard a lot about your sister. I know she's been on a lot of streets, so she knows them real well. As a matter of fact, they used to call Dusty's sister Federal Express. Did you know that? When she went out on a date, she absolutely positively had to be there overnight. But I want to talk about Dusty's whole family. I want to talk about his drunken old daddy. Down there in Austin, Texas, every Saturday night, Dusty Rhodes' father would go in the worst low-class redneck saloon in Austin, Texas, and there would be fighting, there would be swearing, there would be cussing, and a lot of hard drinking. And finally, he'd be able to drag Dusty's mother out of there. But you know something about Dusty's daddy? He was a successful businessman. As a matter of fact, before he was a plumber, he owned a shoe store. He owned a shoe store down there in Austin, Texas, and he did so good at it that to this day, every time the city of Austin, Texas thinks of black loafers, they think of Dusty's father. But let me tell you something, Dusty Rhodes, and I want you to listen real good. The Cornette family has long been regarded not only in Louisville, Kentucky, but all over the country, all over the world, as one of the finest families ever in this country. Beautiful Bobby Sweet Sand, they come from money, they come from power, they come from movers and shakers, they come from the upper crust. We are not riffraff, we're not rednecks, we're not farmers, and we're not plumber sons like you. So don't you ever dare make comments about the Cornette family, because, brother, let me tell you something. We're going to take that into consideration. Just remember, your daddy spent his whole life in other people's toilets, and while he was out there with that plumber's helper, every delivery boy and out-of-work bum in Austin, Texas knew the color of your mama's bedroom. You remember that. Let's go.
More after this timeout, fans.
We had, say what? A whole lot of superstars on this stage here tonight. But I want y'all to know one thing. This is my house. And when I say who's
word attack skills and vocabulary too. Cover hits in this edition is all brand new. You're through. I'm interplanetary like Doctor Who. So who?
Fuck your beef, no relief. I step on stage, girls scream like I'm Keith.
Everybody, welcome. Ringtime Pro Wrestling's at it again. We missed a week. There was some technical difficulty, some things not going right, but we back at it. Keisha in the building. Keisha, say hi to the people.
Hey, what up, though? That's how I come. That's my interest for the night. I'm just saying. Like, yeah. Pulling it off. Gotta pull it off.
We're following up a crazy week in professional wrestling. We're coming off 2 weeks of a lot of stuff. We wasn't here for the SummerSlam recap. Wasn't here for the NXT TakeOver recap. So we're going to gloss over those real quick to get you caught up to where we at. And I'll throw you some thoughts in on some of the Raw. Throw you some thoughts in on Tough Enough. And we're going to get caught up. And that's what it is. That's how it's going to be. We Ringtime Pro Wrestling. We hit you a variety of ways. We're on Stitcher Radio. We are on iTunes. We are available on the TuneIn Radio app. We're available on YouTube. And, of course, Spreaker. So, coming through. Also, if you'd like to support the show, one of the ways you can support is get a free audio download from Audible trials.ringtime.com/Streaming Pro Wrestling. We got the link in the show notes. Gives you a 30-day free trial, a free audio book on us. Check it out. I'll be remiss if I forgot that. But Keish.
Yes.
Let's get into it. Let's get in the week. All right. Last week you had two major events. You had TakeOver over in Brooklyn. You had SummerSlam. You had the ROH event. But we'll get more into TakeOver right now. Right. Pretty much, I'm going to say TakeOver was the most cohesive and well put together event over that weekend. Now, to be fair, it's a lot easier to put together a 2-hour show than it is a 4-hour show. But the sellout, I think, was incredible. They sold out Barclays 3 nights in a row. That was amazing. Getting 13,000 for an NXT show was incredible.
Right.
I'm going to go over the major highlights. Liger defeated Tyler Breeze with the Liger Bomb. Very good match. The guy's ageless. If we're out here, it won't be the last time he'll be in the WWE.
Exactly.
So that's good to hear. We got a new peek at a new diva, Nia Jax. She is a member of the Inoue family. So yes, she's The Rock's little cousin. I mean, she's also related to the Usos. She's related to Roman Reigns. Yada yada yada. On down the line, right?
Right.
Shocking enough, the Vaudevillains are new champs. They defeated Blake and Murphy for the tag team titles, and they had a little X factor. They had because usually Blake and Murphy got their girl outside, so to even it up, the Vaudevillains had Blue Pants.
All right.
Who my daughter loves, mind you. One of her favorite divas, and so that was interesting. Apollo Crews had a very good debut.
Awesome.
And I'm running down. Samoa Joe looked good against Baron Corbin. Regal announced the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which kicked off tonight, and we'll go over that later on.
I'm excited to see it continue. I can't wait to see where it goes. Of course, that was an exciting announcement. So every week, you gotta watch it let it continue.
So yeah, easily Bayley and Sasha are the match of the year. At least, I mean, like I said, maybe at least in the top 5 of matches this year. Very emotional ending. 4 horsewoman reunion. Keish, what did you think of that match in particular?
Man, incredible. I mean, what other word can you use to describe it? That was it. It was it for me. I was done. It was beautiful. Beautiful match. I don't even have any other words for it. I was and it's crazy because me stuttering and all that kind of stuff is just how captivating I was. That was it for me. So I definitely agree. I agree with everything that you have just said about this. And I couldn't disagree. If I did, I feel like I would be disrespecting it. That's just my take on it. So
other than that, Finn Balor defeats Kevin Owens in a ladder match. Very solid match. Both were professional. You knew Balor had to go over. Owens was going to spend his most of the time now on the main roster.
Right.
So I mean, that just is what it was. What it was. You couldn't really. There wasn't too many directions you could go from there, which is fine. You don't have to swerve everything. So I thought that was a good match. Going into SummerSlam, Sheamus defeating Orton clean was a surprise. The New Day are new tag team champs. They won the Fatal 4-Way. I can grow to like the New Day. Strange enough, these guys have become colossally entertaining.
They're hilarious. I
Very
do
funny.
not like the New Day. They are too funny.
Other highlights from the Sunday night show: Stephen Amell and Neville defeat Stardust and Wade Barrett. Which
that was actually a good match, though.
I won't say good match. I'll say it was solid performance for a television personality to participate in a match.
Well, I was entertained. I have to say that I was very entertained. So, Stephen Amell did more than I thought he would, and I guess that's what had me entertained the whole time. Cause I didn't expect much out of him, but it was actually more than I actually expected. So, I was entertained. I thought it was good.
Yeah. Let's go to the highlights of the show. Seth Rollins defeats John Cena for United States title and now is United States and World Champion. Probably one of the worst finishes I've seen.
Yeah.
This is a night of bad finishes, right?
Right.
So, Jon Stewart comes down and gets involved in the match and turns on Cena and hits Cena with the chair to allow Rollins to get the win. Really, really terrible. I don't think it did anything for Rollins.
No, it didn't. Not at all.
I thought it was just, you guys went for the pop to have the mainstream media attention out of the match, and it wasn't even consistent with how the match was going.
No,
like
it really
Stewart
didn't.
Come down like he was making a save, and Cena was already kind of in peril.
Right.
But they were trying to do a swerve thing, and it just didn't work out, right?
It was really random. Like, him just coming out of nowhere. It would have been one thing had he been sitting on the side, or he had been out there the whole time, or, it would have made a little bit more sense to me, but at the same time, it wouldn't have, because like you said, like, Cena already had, to me, the match. He already had the match won. So, I mean, it just really didn't make sense. It didn't. Like, him coming out there was ridiculously random and stupid, because it just didn't go along with the flow of the match. It didn't. It was really out of nowhere, and it could have been kept. Like, they could have saved that. Because it was just kind of like, okay. And even JBL himself was saying, like, John had no reason to be out there. Like, zero. He had zero reason to be out there. Like, it was just like, why is he even in the ring? It didn't make any bit of sense whatsoever, so.
Kevin Owens and Cesaro were a semi-main event match. Probably the best match on the card, honestly. Kevin Owens defeats Cesaro. Semi-main event. It was a good spot for them.
Right.
But that being said, I think the crowd didn't react as well as you thought they would. But I think it was just from fatigue. You was getting towards the end of a 4-hour show.
Right.
And that was the thing, they didn't have nothing for them. Main event, Brock and Taker. Solid match up to the end. I thought they both told a good story. I thought it was brutal. I thought it was a good level of violence.
Right.
Taker taps. Ref doesn't see it. They do the whole ring bell thing. That was a weird swerve that didn't make sense either. Like, what? When does the timekeeper and the ring bell go in business for itself? The only time a ring bell's ever been rang was at the command of Vince in the screw job. And Vince was there to do the screw job. Like, there's no... It doesn't really make sense. But I get this is what they wanted. They needed Brock to lose without losing. They needed Brock to look strong, but still Taker to win, because the money is going to be WrestleMania 32 for the third match.
Right.
That's obviously what we're doing. So now we're setting up that situation for the third match.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the story. And that's where we at with that, right? Other than that, not too much. I'll kind of take last week's news and mix it in with this week's news. Last Raw was good. Probably one of the better Raws. I mean, Raw was a lot better than SummerSlam. I'll say that. For the third night in Brooklyn. R.I.P. Bo Dallas. I think he's maybe dead.
Yeah, right, exactly. Funeral arrangements were made.
Yeah, and interrupted Brock while he was on a tangent, and those suplexes look like they hurt. That's all I can say.
Of course it looked like it hurt. He was throwing him around like he was a damn rag doll. He looked like a rag doll. I was done. I was like, yeah, he ain't getting up from that. I don't even like it probably. Nope, just no. Just no.
Raw was the event of returns and shocks, and I mean, first of all, the return of the Dudley Boys to Raw was huge. They introduced the New Day to tables, and they're looking good. Yep. If you were around on ringtimeprowrestling.com, I wrote an article about the Dudleys. I want to know when the characters will evolve. This is great. You brought me Attitude Era Dudley. And this is what I'll say. I think it makes sense because, for the most part, the WWE Universe is only familiar with that version. I, on the other hand, with a million other people, watched the Galaxy Far, Far Away, TNA,
Right.
and I got to see Bully Ray, and I got to see Devon evolve his character. Now, will they do that in the WWE? I think so, but I think they're going to wait. And they're going to wait for something to happen, and then they're going
Right.
to, they just can't jump right into it. But right now, they're going to give you the Dudleys everybody's familiar with. The crowd loved it. There was huge pop. New York is a perfect place to debut them, to bring them back. Smart crowd, a crowd that knew and loved ECW. I thought it was a perfect place and a perfect timing. The guys are in great shape. They still can work. And I think they're going to add something to the tag team division. And I think it's good because it's full of a lot of young tag teams. So I think working with these guys will be a good mentoring program for the young tag teams in the division.
Now, one thing that there is something about them that I will point out when we talk about Raw for this week, but it was one of the more exciting moments when the music hit and they came out, and it was incredible because as a fan that has been watching them for the last 10 years or so, you like, oh man, what? Yeah, like it's exciting. It's incredible because let's be honest, 10 years ago was 2005. So like watching them years before that, and oh my God, I was done. And of course, I'm up there yelling at home, Devon, get the tables. Yeah, I was down there. I was with everybody else. But to see how respected and loved they are is it's the icing on the cake. Like the Dudley Boys are one of my favorite tag teams and always will be. So I'm excited about this. And I'm excited about what is about to change in the tag team division because of their return.
Yeah, I think they have a very interesting arc, and we'll see what happens with them. The Wyatt family got a little bit bigger, which was very interesting also.
A little bigger.
Okay, a lot bigger. They brought in Braun Strowman from NXT. Incredible size, huge guy, no-selled everything, and hey man, I think he's gonna be a problem. And the Shield, or Dean and Roman, have been struggling with him for the past week now, and yeah, I think it added a lot of spice to what was, we didn't know what was happening,
right?
And I think they added a lot of spice to this thing, and it changes the dynamic now.
It does. It definitely does. Like I just have to wonder though, how this is going to continue. I really just have to ask the question of like, where do you go from here with this? Because it's already enough that that Raw in particular just had a lot going on, but this was also part of the night where it was like, are you serious? It was just it was a lot to take in. It's a lot. That man is a lot to take in. He's huge. He's huge.
He's huge. Yeah, I agree. I would not disagree with that. Here's the thing. I think eventually Dean and Roman have to find a way to even the odds. They got to overcome. I think they're going to pump Roman up, or something's got to happen. Something's got to give.
Right. Exactly. So, but we'll see. I mean, I don't want them to continuously, be destroyed. Because that night, they were just, destroyed. It was the worst. It was the worst state that I've seen them in, them two by themselves. It's just awful. Awful. But at the same time, that's what makes great entertainment. So it's just okay, now we see his new member and all this kind of stuff, and he's just killing everybody. How long is this going to continue? That's the best question to ask. How long will this continue? Is he possibly taking the place of somebody else? And where's Eric Rowan? Somebody tell me that. If somebody can tell me that, I would love to know. Where is
Rowan is probably nursing an injury, more than likely, and will be back soon. And he'll be an interesting dynamic, because if he comes back and joins Bray, you have a really potent Wyatt family, right?
Right, exactly.
One that I would start unleashing on the rest of the roster. I mean, it's time to see what happens. So I think,
definitely. I mean, what else can you do but to just kind of sit back and just wait for it to play out very, very patiently. So
great, but I think there's a plan down the road, and we'll see what happens.
Right.
But that happened. Apparently, Cena got escorted out the arena. He wanted to talk to Seth Rollins. But prior to, he had a conversation with Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart explained his actions. He didn't want Cena to tie Ric Flair, which is kind of lame, but I guess that's what you want to go with.
Exactly. It's really ridiculously stupid. Like, I was just kind of like, okay. So, like, Flair said himself, records are meant to be broken. Okay? Just because there's a record does not mean that at some point it won't be broken. That's how records got created in the first place. Somebody had to break someone else's record in order to create a new one, and so on and so forth. So, of course, Jon Stewart's explanation of why he did it, it was just really retarded. Like, it was just kind of like, really? Just, no. It was really retarded. So, of course, Cena, the anger and all that, and the AA, and that was it. Like, that was it. But, of course, they play it up for TV and everybody else, so this is the end result, This is the end result, but it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous when Stewart entered in the first place, but his explanation just made it like 10 times worse, so.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Here's the thing.
I don't either.
I think that was just what they ran with. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, they just had to explain the situation away. Cena will be back, so that happened. But so we had Rollins Appreciation Night. They threw out a statue for Seth Rollins, and Sting showed up. Like I said, it was the night of returns. It was crazy. It
was wonderful, though. Like, how better of a night can you have than to just have a whole night of people like just popping up out of nowhere? I loved it. I loved it because it just brought this element of surprise that just nobody could match. Set leaves and that Sting underneath that curtain that was supposed to have been around that statue was greatness. Like, I don't think that there was a better way for him to return other than that. It was the perfect moment. It was a perfect moment. And I was thoroughly excited because, of course, Sting, as of right now, is a hot commodity. Of course, he's the guy, Like, he might not be the top of the company, but at the same time, every time they have him appear, every time that his name is mentioned, we sat in anticipation for like a good 2-3 years before he actually came into the WWE, like finally came into the WWE. So Sting returning was it was greatness. The faces of the Authority and Seth were just cold. Like, they didn't know how to act, they didn't know what to do, but it was at that moment when you realize, like, yeah, this is going to be a match, then it's going to be it. And now his title's on the line. Like, it's...
but it's kind of. I think that kind of gives it away. We know Sting ain't gonna win the title.
But why not?
I just don't think that's a viable option.
You know, what's crazy is that if he did, like, let's say that he does, it is. Oh, of course, we know it's not going to be for a long time. If anything, a month tops, and then bam, he loses it again. The only reason why I could see that happening is, of course, for him to accomplish something that he's never accomplished before, and that's actually holding the WWE Championship. That's it. Like, he beats Seth at Night of Champions, he holds the title for a month, and then he loses it at the next pay-per-view. I mean, that's the only way this makes sense. This is the only way it makes sense. It's not necessary, but it's the only way that it actually makes sense. So
here's what I'll say. With that, he should have never lost to Triple H at WrestleMania. If we were going to go down this road, there's no reason he should have lost to Triple H at WrestleMania.
No, not at all. Not at all, because then it's like, okay, he lost to Triple H at WrestleMania. Why? And the next match that they decide for him to have, you have him going for the title. What has he earned? What has he done in order to earn this spot? That's the question that should be asked.
It's not about earning the spot. Well, it's not about earning the spot. It's just a matter of keeping him looking strong. And the last memory of him shouldn't be him taking a loss. But, you know, we'll see. I mean, wrestling is cyclical, and, you know, you can make sense of it if you want to. I want to squeeze it in this 30 minutes of the first Rider show to make up for an hour and a half that we missed last week. Tough Enough had his final. ZZ and Josh faced off with Amanda and Sarah. They finished the show with a final match. The ladies both faced Alicia Fox. Both of the guys faced Cesaro. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was solid. The winners of Tough Enough were Josh and Sarah, I believe. Hold on, let me double check that. Yes, Josh and Sarah were Tough Enough.
Right.
I think everybody involved will be back though.
Oh, definitely they will be back, and we get to see them in a whole new light. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, that's to say the least. So it's something to patiently wait for, because we all know it's going to happen. Like, that's just pretty much the analogy of all of it. It's going to happen, people. So don't think for a second that just because the show's over and everything's over, that, you know, there's not going to be a continuance for the contestants. Not just the winners, the contestants too. We will see them. It's gonna happen. I'm excited. I can't. I just want to know, like, right now, like, hey, who's it gonna be? You know, I really want to. I want to know right now, like, who is it that is gonna continue?
Yeah. With that, we're gonna take our first break of the show and chop this thing up, and we'll be back. And we will go over Raw. We'll do birthdays. We'll do news. We might just do Raw. You know what? Let's go through Raw now, and we'll come back on into the break, because when I get through the birthdays and news and NXT, we'll probably be ready to wrap up. And I know the news is going to take a while, because there's some topics that we really need to go into. So let's catch up to this week's Raw. Sting opens up the show. He explains himself, what he wants, and what's going down. Okay. I thought he put himself over. He brought his points forward, and they have an interesting match set up. I mean, it's compelling. Don't get me wrong. I think we know Sting's not going to win, but I mean, let's make sure that Rollins goes over solid. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But then again, who knows? They may make Sting go over, because you never know, because the WWE doesn't necessarily make sense, right?
No, not at all.
So Ziggler takes on Rusev again in a SummerSlam rematch. The SummerSlam match is a double DQ.
Right.
This match doesn't really have any finality either to it. It's just that Ziggler actually wins the match, but he still wins by DQ. I don't know. Where do you think this story's going?
It's not going anywhere to me. I mean, personally, there's only so much you can do with the whole love story angle. Like, it's so ridiculous to me because it's starting to mold into something that really it just doesn't need to be. You know, I feel like with Rusev, they can do more, you know, with his time, and they can do more with him. I feel like it could be something a little different. Of course, Dolph is one of my favorite wrestlers, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, this is getting ridiculous now. You know, if Lana and Summer Rae aren't going to have a match, or they're not going to do like a mixed tag or something like that, what is the point? You know, having them fight like every week and at every pay-per-view and stuff like that, it starts to become useless after a while because, I mean, there's no end. There has to be an end at some point. And I feel like this is just going on, I wouldn't say long enough, but it's just going on long enough to make the assessment that there's really nothing else that's going to come out of this. Because it's not like one of them holds a belt and they're fighting for a championship or anything like that. It's just kind of like a whole bunch of shenanigans and BS that's just being sent around these two people because they need something for both of them to do. Summer Rae has kind of gotten me to look at it a little different in life, but Lana, on the other hand, looks absolutely amazing. So I'm a little biased, but at the same time, the storyline as a whole, to me, is just not moving. You know, it's like at a standstill because it's like, what's the best words I can use for this? It makes no sense because it's just they're fighting and fighting and fighting, and then there's nothing else to it. It's just kind of like, oh, I hate you because of this, I hate you because of that, and this, that, and third, but there's nothing else coming out of this whole thing. So I don't really see why they will continue this in the future. I don't. You know, unless they're going to have some kind of stakes that's being raised or something like that, there's no reason for them to keep continuing this storyline. If anything, just break everybody up and call it a day.
Yeah, pretty much. I think this is going to lead to some weird mixed tag match. I think that's just the best case scenario for it. Other than that, I can't really tell you where it's going to go. Maybe there's a swerve somewhere. Maybe somebody turns on somebody. Maybe Rusev and Lana get back together and, you know, leave Dolph and Summer kind of trying to figure out where they belong.
Right.
Because they made a lot of sense together. So, we'll see how that works out. I hate when the Bellas talk. PCB did a Beat the Clock challenge.
Which was very interesting in itself. I don't think I've ever seen a Divas Beat the Clock challenge. This is the first for me. I don't know about you.
It was the first. It was the first. It actually was the first Beat the Clock for them. Strange enough, with that going down, I think Beat the Clock is kind of cheap and embarrassing for the opponents because you have no way in. It's like you just beat the clock. You know what
exactly.
I mean? You just there to get your ass beat, and after that, there's nothing else.
It isn't, and I don't understand it. Like, to me, I'm not going to sit here and act as if, you know, the opponents for the Beat the Clock challenge weren't good. They were great, actually. I like the selection. But it was just kind of like, Beat the Clock challenges really just create ridiculously fast matches. That's it. Like, to me, that's just what a Beat the Clock challenge is for. Like, it creates this ridiculously short match and then it's over with, you know? So it was just kind of like, what was the point? I feel like if they were going to, since they decided to go this route, I feel like they should have just let Becky Lynch make the match, like a good 5 minutes in total or a little longer, and then just watch people fight to beat the clock. But I understood, how it went. I just didn't understand, like, how many more times in Divas history has this happened? How many times do we talk about things like this, but then don't see them, and then when you see them, it's just kind of like, okay. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, like, but that's life, man. It is what it is, so.
Here's the thing. I think, the final beat the clock was Sasha Banks, right? Well, not only was Paige not going to beat the clock, but I think that doesn't do anything for Sasha. Now, of course, Paige didn't beat her, so, I mean, that works out, but it's just kind of like, I didn't really get, but we got a beast to an end.
Right.
Charlotte is going to go after the title and face Nikki. We'll see how that turns out at Night of Champions. There's been rumors swirling that, Cena's been burying Charlotte, trying to keep, the belt on Nikki. Nikki's going to carry that belt to break AJ Lee's record. Why? Because the WWE is petty. And they're going to make sure that she break that record, right? They're going to stick it to Punk and AJ just for the hell of it, right? Really might be more sticking it to Punk than AJ, but they just got to, do what they got to do. But, that's that.
Yeah, pretty much. Guys, you're in that. Be done with it. Next.
Big Show and Ryback went for the IC title. The crowd was telling Big Show he needed to retire.
It was too funny.
Yeah. I mean, he's angry and he's saying somebody need to come retire. I think he's getting towards the end. I think Big Show is overexposed. And that's just the beginning of the end of it. I think he's just overexposed. Right. I think there's just too much time on television. Like, I think if he took some time off and came back and did more, like, special events and things like that, I think people can have more of appreciation for Show.
Right.
I don't think he's devoid of talent, and I think he's probably one of the greater big men of our time. I just think that he's every week, every show, especially for a guy at his age, probably ain't the move.
Right.
So that's where that kind of lands. But other than that, no, I think he's I think he's still got some gas in the tank.
Yeah, I do too. I think that he can go. He can still go. I mean, it's not like he's looking like ridiculously sluggish in the ring, or he's just looking as if he hasn't gotten it all still. Like, I feel like he's still a good wrestler, for a man his size and of his strength. Like, so it's really difficult to decipher if somebody like him can continue, let alone will continue with all this wrestling stuff. So it'd be interesting to see, how they continue on with him and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Right.
Cesaro and Owens had a good rematch. Owens still came out on top. Strowman did his in-ring debut against Ambrose, and of course the Wyatts kept upper hand and knocked that out. Right. Dudley Boys took on a New Day. I thought they were solid. And, hey man, they should be challenging for the tag team titles at Night of Champions, I would assume.
And this is where I insert the comment that I was going to make earlier. Did you see the interview before the match?
Yeah.
They came to put people through tables. That was not Bubba talking. That right there, that was Bully Ray.
No, I mean, he definitely showed that he was an Evolve interview. So Monday night, we learned that Rollins will have 2 matches at Night of Champions.
2 matches at night.
Sting, I mean, John Cena invoked his rematch clause for the U.S. title, so that match has to happen. Sting wants the world title, so that match has to happen.
Right.
This is a special opportunity they have with Seth Rollins. I think they have a time now where they can really expand and enhance his legacy. I think they can make or break him that night.
Yes, they can.
I think him splitting the matches would be taking the chicken's way out. I think if he wins both matches and wins them convincingly, it says a lot. I think that says a whole lot.
It does. It speaks volumes. It speaks volumes because that's what you would, if you are a fan of the winner of the champion, that's what you would expect. The thing about Seth is that he holds 2 titles. So instead of, being like, oh yeah, that match is going to be incredible, which one are you talking about? Because now he has to defend 2 belts. And nobody informed him like, hey, guess what, sir? Cena still got a rematch clause. And not only that, but you're holding that belt and the WWE title. The WWE title. It's not like the other belt that he was holding was an Intercontinental title or a tag team belt or something like that. No. You have what is considered to be the 2 top titles in this whole thing in the first place. So now you have to show that, as he was saying multiple times on Raw Monday night, you have to now show that you are the man now. That is the pressure that is placed on this whole entire thing. You have to now prove you are the man now. The best way to measure this is to throw you into two matches at Night of Champions. So I think it's just great, personally. I think this decision and everything else about it is just awesome, But I'm also starting to see the beginnings of Seth versus Triple H. Question is, how fast is this going to progress to get to that point?
I think you take your time with it. I've heard rumors of a Shield reunion in 2016. So, to be honest, I think you can work this all the way to WrestleMania and take your time with it and really tell a good story. I mean, that's the thing to me. I think all these things can work out. It's just a matter of taking the time to tell the story properly.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah. I think that can be done. And I would like to see how that works out. With that, Keisha, I think we're going to wrap up this portion of the show. And we're going to hit them back on the other side.
All right. Yay.
Cactus Jack. Joey, don't you think you're being just a little bit too hard on the franchise? Can't you see that this franchise, a man with a broken heart? Put yourself in his place. Haven't you ever had your heart broken? No, I'm the man who goes out there in just a few short minutes to achieve my destiny as a heavyweight champion of the world. But I can't help to think of Shane Douglas, a broken man. And despite what he may have said about his addiction to women, I happen to know what broke Shane's heart was not a woman, was not a female being. It was the belt. You see, Shane, you don't have a weakness for the women, although you might like the world to think so. You've got a weakness for the gold. That little symbol that tells you you are an important man in this world, Shane, that you're not a mid-card wrestler. Well, I'll stand here right now and I'll tell you you're not a mid-card wrestler. What you are right now is the link in my journey to the heavyweight championship of the world. And Shane, I gotta face the fact that you are a man with an obsession for that belt that makes O.J. Simpson look like a matrimonial philanthropist. So Shane, you don't look at Cactus Jack and say, hey, my best friend is on his way to fulfill his destiny. You look at it like, hey, my best friend's trying to nail my old girl, and he might do it better than me. Well, Shane, snap out of it and call this one down the line, or I'll send you down the line on a very rocky road to Stamford. Bang, bang! There you have it from the challenger, Cactus Jack. Tonight, it's our television.
All right, everybody, we are back. As per usual, it is the birthday time. Pretty much we're going to roll it back to yesterday, September 1st. We're going to start with the September birthdays. Not going to really roll into too much other stuff. Heavy rolling in September. A lot of wrestling birthdays. The late, great Bam Bam Bigelow had a birthday yesterday. Rocco Rock, one half of Public Enemy, had a birthday yesterday. Snuka, Jimmy Superfly Snuka's son, had a birthday yesterday. Doug Williams of the Brothers Invasion had a birthday yesterday. Solomon Crow, who you know over in NXT, had a birthday today. Some of you may know as Sammy Callahan. And that's it. And then it goes blank for a couple of days. And then the 4th, which I believe is Friday, is we go through. Karma has a birthday. And Xavier Woods celebrates a birthday on Friday. And I'm not really going to go into... Well, Saturday, Hunico celebrates a birthday. You know Hunico as the current Sin Cara. And that's it. Oh, and Sunday, Braun Strowman from, the Wyatt family celebrates a birthday.
Right.
So that happens too. News. Man, there was a lot going on. A little too much. I'll hit you with some positive. I like to do that before I bring in the negative.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Please.
I hit you with positive. Ring of Honor will be going to Japan in 2016. They'll be working with New Japan, and they'll be doing some shows over there in 2016. So that will be interesting.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And other than that, that is the last bit of good news I have for you.
That's awful, Keith. Come on, man. Really?
Don't be really in me. Blame all these people in the wrestling world bucking up.
Man, are they? Keith, let's just start. Let's run down the line, because...
All right, so... Okay. First of all, indie promoter makes some claims about Sabu, saying he was a druggie and he shitted all over a hotel room. Messed it up. I mean, I think violate. I don't know if it happened for real or not. I just think it's a shitty way to do business if you're going to out him like that. You know what I mean?
It is a shitty way to do business. Regardless of what he did to you, like, to do stuff like that is just awful. Like, let's be grown-ups, people.
Oh, speaking of outing people, Darren Young, your boy, decides he want to air out cameraman from Total Divas. I guess one of the cameramen from Total Divas was hitting on him and sending them DMs with pictures and trying to holler at him, and he like, look, dog, I got a boyfriend, I ain't into that, and you be an asshole. But he put it on all of social media for everybody to see, which I thought was a little kind of, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't think he had to put him on blast like that. Man shot outside of WWE Performance Center. Apparently, the WWE had a restraining order against the guy. In their statement, they say they didn't know him, but they were kind of familiar with him because apparently he was stalking one of the divas. They really don't go into who. He's a guy who has walked around, said some crazy things, and spread his feces over the Performance Center before. And he kind of got into it with the police and got himself shot.
Yeah. I need you not to be doing that in life. Thanks. I don't care who you are. I'm going to need you to chill out with all of that. Just know. No.
So, Hulk Hogan made his way back in the news.
Oh, Lord.
I think he's trying to get back into wrestling, right?
Right.
And he made a plea for forgiveness on Good Morning America. So, I'm going to play a little bit of the clip for y'all. And then, I'm not going to go all into it because I think it's like an 18-minute interview. But I'm going to play some rough highlights and let y'all hear it. Well, it's about 5 minutes. So I might play it all out. And we'll go on it. And we'll come back and I'll tell you what I think about
that you really don't see, emotional and apologetic in the face of a scandal that has many questioning whether he's a racist. The wrestling star heard in recently leaked audio using the N-word during portions of a secretly recorded sex tape from 2007. It's at the center of his legal battle with the website Gawker, a tape Hogan says he has never watched. To maintain his legacy.
Could we stop for a second?
Terry Bollea, the man behind the once indestructible Hulkster, letting his guard down.
Out of everything that I've been through, this one hit me probably the hardest.
Wiped from the WWE Hall of Fame last month after portions of his conversation during a secretly recorded private encounter were leaked by the National Enquirer. On it, Bollea caught using racial slurs.
I was at the lowest point of my life, to the point where I wanted to kill myself.
You were suicidal?
Yes, I was. And I was very mad at my daughter for really no reason. I was upset over a situation that happened between her and her boyfriend, and I had no idea I was being taped.
On the tape, he refers to his daughter's then boyfriend using the N-word. Are you a racist?
No, I'm not. I'm not a racist. I never should have said what I said. It was wrong. I'm embarrassed by it. But a lot of people need to realize that you inherit things from your environment. And where I grew up was South Tampa, and it was a really rough neighborhood, very low income. And all my friends, we greeted each other saying that word. The word was just thrown around like it was nothing.
Is it fair to say that you inherited a racial bias?
I would say that is very fair. The atmosphere, the environment I grew up in, all my white friends, all my black friends, to hear the word on a daily basis when they'd greet me in the morning. That's what they say to me. Good morning, so-and-so. I think that was part of the culture and the environment I grew up in. For fans who feel let down by you, do you ask their forgiveness? Oh my gosh, please forgive me. Please forgive me. I'm a nice guy. It's not, not the Hulk Hogan that rips the shirt off and bang, 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 slams giants. I'm Terry Bollea. I'm just a normal man. But the WWE, not taking the risk, fired him. Everything I've done, my whole career, my whole life, was like it never happened. Your image, your likeness, your name erased. Yeah, like I'd never existed. That had to hurt. Oh my gosh, it was devastating. Many industry bigwigs now coming to his defense, and his daughter, Brooke. Your daughter posted a beautiful poem on Facebook. If you knew the dad I knew, you'd know he raised me well. He taught me folks are so much more than shades could ever tell. Yeah, and if anybody should have disowned me, it should have been her. She should have been the one. She should have been the one to throw me out like the trash, but instead she showed me more love than anybody. What did Brooke say to you? Well, could we stop for a second? Yeah, sure. All right. Okay. How has Brooke helped you through this? She's been so supportive. She was the direction of my attack. I was not so mad at her boyfriend. I was mad at her, and she instantly said, I don't even need to forgive you because I'm not mad at you. Now the man known for his superhuman strength is wrestling with turning this negative into a positive. Just because a person makes a mistake, just don't throw them away. You don't throw good people away. If everybody at their lowest point was judged on one thing they said, and all of a sudden your whole career was wiped out today because of something you said 10 or 20 years ago, it'd be a sad world. People get better every day. People get better. Hogan told me the day he...
Okay, so after hearing that, same bullshit he been spewing. Oh, now, look, Keish, I don't get it. So first he tried to act like it's how he was raised. Then he tries to throw it with, I'm not like that, but, people say nigga to me all the time. Also, I hate when people get caught in something racist and they try to focus on the nigga word, right? I don't really like saying the N word because I think that sounds childish. We're talking about nigga, right?
Right.
It's not about, if you take nigga out of the rant, it's still pretty racist.
It is.
Okay.
Like,
Also,
he's focused on this one. He just threw the focus on that one word just to make it seem like, oh, this is why I said it. Honey, let's talk about everything else you said other than that. Like, let's stop getting around the whole rant. Just stop getting around your whole speech. All of it was together. Hello? It ain't like the whole time you was just like, yeah, nigga. No, that didn't happen. Like, stop it. I hate that. I can't do it.
Here's the thing, too. It would be different if it was like, oh, he got caught saying, what up, my nigga, and that was it. No, you said fucking nigger a few times, and you was mad because your daughter was dating the black dude.
Exactly.
And that's the precipice of all of this. And all it means is that you're really not that fond of the idea. So, I mean, and that's to me the ultimate racist test. Hey, everybody not racist till it come home with your daughter. Right? So, exactly. Like, I just thought, he says I'm a racist in the rant. It's so full of shit. And I really think, like, now, he's just an old man who's kind of pathetic, and now he's trying to find ways back into the WWE, which I think are eventually going to thaw out and let him back in. But, man, look, you kiss my ass right now. Right. When they let you back in, I'm going to still talk bad about you. So just let that be known here. Very clearly.
Because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, Key. The whole, like I said, when I had gave my original thoughts on it after the whole transcript came out and everything like that, I'd rather you be honest about the person that you are than for you to sit here and do the shit he's doing right now. Right now, he's trying to rebuild himself as this fun-loving, wonderful person that didn't just say all this hurtful and hateful shit. Like, what you said wasn't, it's not like you were just mad one day and, no, like, this stuff sounds like this is what I've believed all my life. Like, regardless if this is how you was raised, and this is what you saw, I know it didn't stem from, well, other people said the N-word around me, so the fuck what? People cuss around other folks, that don't mean you have to do it too. Like, it really gets on my nerves. Like, it's retarded.
I don't want shit from it. Like, at this point, I'm not trying to play wrestling as Jesse Jackson and say I'm owed an apology and no bullshit like that. I'm just done with it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Speaking of race, Seth Rollins' girlfriend, NXT Diva, is going from the roster. Apparently, back a couple of years ago, she put up some pro-Nazi propaganda on her Instagram page, and people found out about it, and it got out, and they like, no, we can't have you around. Also, not only did she have it up, she tried to defend it like, well, it means different things, and it meant something before Hitler had it, and da-da-da-da, and I like it for what it means, and da-da-da. Look, man, you do not get to reappropriate shit. Once Hitler took it, I don't care if it meant peace, love, and kiss babies. Once Hitler took it and started killing Jews, it's over. You cannot reappropriate the shit. The shit is gone. Once you start fucking with swastikas, you are a moron. Fuck you. Get you as far away from me as possible.
Exactly. Like, I can't deal with that kind of shit. And then you're just sitting there like, well, no, bitch, sit down. Have several seats, because you don't, I don't really think, like, matter of fact, I know you're just that stupid. You're that stupid in life to deal with that kind of stuff and think that there was not going to be any kind of backlash or anything going to be said about it or anything like that. No, like, are you kidding me? And then for you to be attached to someone that has now have, like, the most utmost importance to the company, like, I personally wouldn't even be dealing with her. Like, I just be like, yeah, you gotta go, because you're just crazy bitch. Like, you just stupid. Stupid. Like, I can't deal with this level of ignorance in people. Like, it makes no sense to me, because then you're just kind of like, now you go from being, it's crazy because you go from being ignorant to just being an ignorant moron. Like, it's like it's all just mixed together, and you just kind of, it's just spewing out. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. everything you say is dumb. Everything you do is dumb. You're just dumb. I can't. I really can't. People like her, I can't deal with because of the simple fact that you're so stupid that you're not even recognizing your own ignorance for what it is. You're just kind of like, well, I mean, you know, no, that's not okay. It's not going to work. I don't really need for you to disappear. Like, just into thin air, just leave. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's bye-bye time. Once you start seeing with swastikas, it's bye-bye time.
Right.
Nothing you can do to repair that.
Bye. Just bye. No.
Bye. Like, I can't.
Bye.
No. Get away from me.
Exactly. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to troll you. I don't want to even be attached to you in any way, shape, or form possible. Like,
yeah, like, don't let the cooties touch me. Don't let the cooties touch me.
Exactly. Exactly. Because that's how it feels. That's exactly how it feels. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you know, it was funny is that other ignorant people will say stupid shit like, oh, well, it's not your history. I don't give a fuck who history it is. The fact of the matter is, we all know what that symbol stands for. We all know what it stands for, what it's attached to. Regardless of what it was before, that's not even the point. The point is, this is now a sign of, like, hatred, you know, murder, just brutality. And you decide that this is what you want to represent? Nah, honey, goodbye. Yeah. Like,
you can't reappropriate genocide. Sorry.
No.
Okay, speaking of other dumb shit and dumb people.
Oh, Lord.
TNA's Bram got arrested on domestic violence charges, and I think it was one kind of kidnapping was thrown in there. He's suspended from TNA right now. Now, when I first read it, I thought, oh, shit, he tried to rough up Charlotte?
Exactly. That's what I thought, too. When I first heard it, I said, you can't be for real. Like, what?
Right. Well, no, it wasn't Charlotte. Apparently, they got divorced 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently, which means they've been having problems for a long time, but they think the divorce went filed about 2 weeks ago. This is some girlfriend that he had. But, yeah.
Okay.
Graham, nothing to fuck up and choking women and trying to slam, you know what I mean? Like, just being nuts, which may have led to why he probably ended up getting divorced in the first place.
Right.
But, yeah. He won't be on TNA TV for a while. While they work that out, which he probably gonna get in some serious trouble, and may not be on no TV for a minute.
Exactly. Stupid. Just stupid.
I'm sure some shitty indie show will bring him on and let him rock because you know they want to use the name, but for the most part, I mean, I don't think a lot of people want to touch him.
No, I mean, it's funny because it's like goes on the same thing that we were just talking about. When you do something this stupid, like no one wants to be associated with you. Like no one wants to be associated with you. I personally wouldn't want to be. I would fire your ass if you did. Because what's the point of me keeping you? I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want you representing my company with you doing silly shit like that. Why? Are you kidding me? So I'm now going to show that it's okay to run around and beat women. No, it's not. It never will be. And I wouldn't want to personally put myself in a position to where it's like I'm supporting the person that did this. Well, you know, it's just he's an incredible wrestler. And no, like let's just end this now. It ain't gonna happen. So yeah. He's going to be in some kind of independent circuit somewhere, you know, wrestling in high school gyms. Because it's not, I mean, what else can he do? Like, no one else is going to be associated with this shit. Like, no one. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he's never back on TNA TV. I would be more shocked if he was, to tell the truth. Like, I would be more shocked if they just decided that at some point they were going to forgive him and he made his mistakes and blah, 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 blah. And, like, because there are people out there in the world that do that. Like, they're like, oh, well, you know, he learned his lesson and we're going to slap him on the wrist and blah, blah, blah. No, just no. Don't do that. Can we not do that? And I'm glad that it wasn't Charlotte that was involved in this situation. Because she's on top of the world right now. And it would just be really fucked up. It's like he came in and just tried to smack her around, you know? And it'd be messed up. But luckily that's not the case, so.
Right.
Yay.
And more jacked up news in wrestling. And this is the biggest news this week. Superfly Jimmy Snuka was indicted on third-degree murder charges from a 1983 incident involving an ex-girlfriend. Well, former girlfriend. Pretty much.
Right.
This is a rough one, Keish. I wrote it up on ringtimeprowrestling.com. You can check out my take on it. But I'll go over the facts. Basically, it's a 32-year-old case. It involved the death of his girlfriend, 23-year-old Nancy Argentino. She was found unconscious in a Whitehall motel, right? Snuka was the last one to see her alive. He called the police when he got to the hotel. Apparently, he said something happened.
Right.
All right. This is a statement from the district attorney. The 72-year-old Snuka was charged with third-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter after a grand jury determined he repeatedly assaulted Argentino in May of 1983 in the motel and then left her in the bed to die. His assaultive acts and his failure to obtain medical attention resulted in her death. The grand jury wrote and presented July 17th, recommended he be charged with homicide. District Attorney Jim Martin announced the charges in a news conference. Pretty much what happened was this newspaper in that area, in the Allentown, Pennsylvania area, the Morning Call, kind of did a little investigation of their own about their death because it was a story that it was a cold case in that town for 30 years, right? And they went in, and Keisha, you can elaborate on how cold cases work and what makes people reopen them because you're the criminal justice expert, you got the degree and all that. They went back and found an autopsy that had never been seen before. And that autopsy ruled the case a homicide.
Yes. That's exactly what happened. With cold cases, the thing that makes a case cold is they stop investigating it. It's not necessarily like they can never revisit it. The case is not closed. That's the difference. The difference between a closed case and a cold case is that it's never closed. It can be reopened at any time because, and they use the word reopen just as a way of saying like restart. Murder cases, as we know, they have no statute of limitations. So you could charge somebody with a murder like 7 years after it happened, if you find out who did it. I mean, that's just pretty much the end-all, be-all of murder cases. So when it was revisited, like normally what happens with cold cases is what usually gets them reopened is like a tip or a new fact that was found in the case or something that can push the case forward. And at the time, I'm pretty sure that they just couldn't push it forward. You know, the autopsy was done and this, that, and a third. And it was just kind of like they didn't have anything in order to not only find a suspect, but to indict anybody on it. And now they do. And he just happens to be the suspect. I mean, he was already the person of interest when it happened in the first place. But now he is the actual suspect in the case. They're indicted and they're like, well, so from what we see now, you did do it. Oh, okay. That's exactly what just happened. And it's surprising. It's not, I want to say it's surprising, but it's not. I guess because seeing reading all the facts from on my own personal standpoint, like it doesn't surprise me. If he was already the person of interest in the first place, and like there's this autopsy that just somehow just never happened, you know, and it's just kind of crazy. He was also sued in a civil suit by her family for $500,000 that he never paid because he's like, I didn't have the money and blah blah blah. And it's
ironically,
kind of,
suit say he didn't have for a lawyer either. That suit took place in 1985.
Exactly.
Snuka had money in 1985.
Right.
Also, there's some other things. Like I said, I went through this whole case. I went through a few different articles. I started pulling stuff because I really wanted to do the research and be able to talk about this intelligently. I'm not here to indict anybody on murder. I'm going to say it doesn't look good. And I think the WWE has decided that. Yesterday they said, look, we're just going to let the legal process play out. Yesterday his profile was up.
Right.
Today it's,
yeah.
They would have talked to some investigators. It was like, ooh. But I think they also want to get far away from this. Because there was speculation in 83 that Vince helped cover this up.
Right. Exactly.
Like, look, there's always been speculation and rumors in the wrestling business about this happening, right? Like, there's always just been whispers. There's never been nothing out loud. It's supposed to be whispers. But people have discussed it before. And nobody really talked about it. You know what I mean? But it was out there. So, after a while, after a few years, it just kind of dies out. So, I don't know.
Hey, I'm pretty sure that, you know, once, and this is just my theory of like what initially happened. I'm pretty sure that they were investigating it and investigating it because regardless of how you want to see it or not, Snuka was a celebrity at the time. You know, big wrestling name, you know, everything like that, and that's probably how the WWE got involved in the first place. You know, but it really just kind of escalated till it couldn't escalate anymore, and then it just kind of died out because there was nothing else the investigators or anybody else could do with the case. And then now it's like, they were behind him, but then they were behind him at first, kind of, but then now it's just like, no, we're good. And the whole reason, because they know, because they're like you said, there's speculation that they were involved in the first place, and they helped cover all this up. So of course, if there is already this speculation that I could be thrown in this too, I'm gonna try and separate myself as much as possible. And that's probably not even the reason why they took his profile down and started separating themselves, because of course with what's going on these days, the WWE is just kind of like on this whole, hey, if you doing something drastic like that, we're done with you. Like, we seen what happened to Hogan. So, like, with this, I was just waiting on them to actually make the move of just separating themselves from it completely. Because it was bound to happen. It was bound to happen, and we all know it was bound to happen. Like, it's not surprising, it's not shocking. Like, you all know, like, this was going to happen. Like, it was going to be this slow, gradual separation away from him in this whole situation. He's being indicted on murder. Murder. You know, like, murder people. Like, there is no other way for me to put this. Murder. Mm. Like I have to ask, and of course I would ask anybody, like, what would you do if you were associated with someone and they were indicted on murder? Murder? Like, no. Like, there's no way you're gonna sit there and just they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, no. There's gonna be some level of let me get away from this right now. So,
yeah. Here's the thing. I think everything's in question. I didn't know Snuka had such a deep past with domestic violence. There was always allegations he beat Argentino. And he was married at the time. That's how sick this was. He was married with children.
Exactly. When I read that part of the case, I said, wait a minute, hold on. You mean to tell me that he had a wife already when this happened? So, how did he have a girlfriend? Of course, that's a stupid question. We all know the answer to that, but it's just kind of like, are you for real? Like, you're not serious. Stop playing with me. Like, you're not serious. I know you're not serious. Just no. And, but that to me is what makes this so much more hurtful for him. Like, the case against him, I'm starting to see slowly it's a little strong. I'm going to really need for him to make sure he has a great lawyer. Because, yeah, it's just already starting to go downhill for him really bad. So, honey. I mean, what else can you really say about it except that this is, I'm not surprised, but it's only because it's been this long, and the new facts in the case make it just a little less shocking. You know, it's just a little less. And even though it really don't have to do, it has to do with him, but the new stuff really does. It's just kind of like, yeah. Snuka, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I really don't. Hope you have a great lawyer, because that's pretty much where you're going to be right about now. Like, I hope you have the best lawyer ever, because you're going to need him.
All right. His domestic violence past is going to make this hard for him, pretty much. It is. Also, he was married. He beat that wife. That's going into the case. His autobiography says at the time he used a lot of alcohol. He had steroid use and cocaine, so things got a little crazy. That's going into the trial. Right. Also, that's just a guy who was drunk on a roid rage, and this is what happened, and that's how it's going to be characterized. And this is a guy who admittedly is going through a rough time right now. He's 72 years old. He suffered from stomach cancer. Like, this is going to be, like, rough. Right. And, hey, man, you can't outrun your past. If you read his 2012 autobiography, he talks about some things. He said he never hit her. He said he never hit Nancy. Now, there's a lot of inconsistencies of how she got the bruise on her head. Like, I think he told authorities one time they was wrestling around and messing around, and she hit her head. Then he told somebody else she messed around. She fell and hit her head, and that's how the bruises came. But really, it's just a matter of he probably hit her with something, or he may have threw her into something and just freaked out after she got knocked out cold or something like that. But like I said, reading some things, I think it's very interesting, and I don't think it looks good for Snuka. It does. Somebody had joked that, like, hey man, the WrestleMania 1 main event gonna be Orton, Piper, and Orndorff versus Mr. T. Right. Yeah. I read that. I was like, oh no, why, man? It's too soon. Hey, they said that it's gonna be crazy seeing that video. Right, Piper smashed that coconut against nothing. But exactly. Right. They ain't full erasure yet. But the WWE, a day later after saying they was gonna let the legal process play out, has started moving, and I think that's telltale sign something is wrong. Yeah. To wrap this up, I watched NXT tonight. First round of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Baron Corbin and Rhino defeated the Ascension. Regal announced Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I always want to say champion. Ciampa are going to compete in NXT next week as a tag team in a Dusty Classic, which I think is going to be kind of almost like a tryout match for them too. This is why Ciampa was pissed when the injury rumors was going out a couple of weeks ago, because he knew, like, hey man, this is my shot, y'all fucking me up. But him and Johnny, who's been in NXT before and didn't work out quite well, and then he ended up back on the indie circuit, wrestling for Dragon Gate, wrestling for Evolve. So this is Johnny Gargano's like second chance with this. So I think he's really going to pick it up this time. And Tommaso, I think this is his first shot with it. But WWE loves ROH guys apparently. So that'll be interesting. Also from the NXT show tonight, Alexa Bliss defeated Blue Pants in a one-on-one match. Apollo Crews looked very solid in his second match that I seen him in. This time he faced Alexander Wolf.
Awesome.
Hey man, the crowd hate Eva Marie guts. Like, Eva, they don't like her.
Yeah.
I mean, they was into like the UK wrestle. They was in the let's go Eva sucks.
Awesome.
She has Bella heat, and I say that like I think they just hate her because her status and what she's done. Like, I don't think they really like it's a personal thing. I think it's more of just like they just see her as a pretty girl and they don't see her as a wrestler. Even though she's been kind of grinding, trying to get in that, trying to prove herself as a wrestler. But I mean, that's what this whole thing is about. And I mean, she's working away from NXT. She's not taking a main roster spot right now. But she's trying. But shit, they giving her the business. I mean, like this match tonight against Billie Kay, who nobody knows. Billie Kay had a near fall, and man, you should have heard the like depression when she when even kicked out. I was like, shit, they mad she kicked out. Shit.
Exactly. Awful.
I was like, you gonna be a heel. You ain't got no choice.
Right.
I thought I got to see Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. They defeated Neville and Solomon Crow. Also, that was a match for the tournament. I was excited to see him because I hadn't seen them wrestle yet. And Gable has that name. I mean, legendary wrestler name. These guys apparently are shooters, and they are got strong amateur backgrounds, and that's the thing I'm always a fan of. So I think they're going to be interesting.
Right. And it will be. It will be.
Yeah. Other than that, I think I expect the tournament to be going and be big, and they're going to keep pushing. I would like to maybe let NXT be 2 hours and get more tournament matches in, but we'll see how that works out. Right. Anything else you got to throw in there, Keish?
I'm excited for the tourney because I'm always excited for anything having to do with multiple tag teams because I am a tag team fan. It's just like I am with singles competition. So for them to create a tourney just in the honor of Dusty Rhodes, I think is not only classy, but just completely awesome in itself. Not only that, but it's involving the NXT tag teams and not the WE and not the ones on the main roster, which to me is like 10 times plus. And the only reason being is because you get to see them more, you get to see more of what they can do, and you get to see them more with another person. So it's greatness to me. I'm too thoroughly excited about it, and I can't wait to see who wins it all and who takes it all.
I mean, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe going to make an interesting team, and I think that will lead into a program probably with those two at some point. They take on Lucha Dragons in the first round. I think that'll be interesting to see how that works out. But yeah, I think those two guys will enter a program, and we'll see what comes on. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting tournament. Other than that, man, I think we about to roll out.
Cool.
I think we had a good show, and we'll be back next week. And we will hit you with some more wrestling and things to come.
Bye. Next week, people.
Peace.
And I don't impress easy. Now, for this discussion, may I present 15 years undefeated, the 8th wonder of the world, 7'4", 500 pounds, Andre, whoa, the Giant. Wait, what's going on here? Hold on, man. What are you doing with him? You guys aren't together. Come on, man. Andre, what are you doing here with Heenan? What's going on? Andre, listen, man. You can't be here with him. Don't you know what Heenan's done to me? To these people out here since you've been gone? It can't be so. Andre, Listen to me. Day one, man, when I set my eyes on you, brother, you're the reason I got in professional wrestling. You were like a god to me, a role model. You can't be here with him, man. You're the one that took me all the way from nothing to the world title. Andre, you can't be with him, man. Brother, wait 1 minute. You're the one that taught me, man, about respect for the fans, about helping the kids. You're the one that taught me about good sportsmanship. You set the mold for me to follow, man. What are you doing here with him?
I'll tell you what he's doing here with me. He's sick and tired of you and what you stand for. Let me tell you something, Hogan. You're the one that for 3 years as world champion used this man. You're also the vermin that made this man. I can't tell you what I think about it. You used him, they gave him a trophy. But no, that wasn't good enough. It was a littler trophy than yours. But you had to walk out and steal that moment. You're so jealous of this man, you can't stand it. This is the man for 15 years that is undefeated. But did you ever once?
No, man, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. When I won the world title, he poured champagne over my head. It was like a bond of friendship. You're wrong, Ian.
Did you ever once in your life offer him a championship match? You laughed behind his back.
No, Andre, listen, it's not happening. Tell me it's not so, man. Even though you came out here with him, you don't have to leave with him. It's not happening.
Take your hands off my shoulders.
He's got one more thing to say to you, Hogan.
Look at me when I'm talking to you. I'm here for one reason. To challenge you for a world championship match in the WrestleMania.
Andre, please, no, it's not happening. We're friends. We're friends, Andre, please.
You can't believe it? Maybe you'll believe this, Hogan.
Andre, what are you doing, man? You can't leave like this, man. What are you doing, Andre? You can't cross the shirt. What's wrong with him, man? You can't leave like this.
You're bleeding.
It's not out. Andre, come back, man. You don't have to leave like this. What is he doing?
You're bleeding.
What's...
Come.
Andre.
Come on.